Yesterday, the Dow Jones Industrials lost 283 points, about 2.5%. Here to tell us what the Fed's up to is CBS News senior business correspondent Anthony Mason. Anthony, good to see you here this morning.
Hey, Chris.
So the Fed has been very active in trying to give a little robust boost to this economy. It hasn't worked in the past by buying off some of the trillions of dollars of government debt. What is this new plan, and what's the latest here?
It's called Operation Twist, and by the way, the name actually does come from the old Chubby Checker song, because the last time the Fed tried this was back in the early 60s. What they're trying to do with this move is to drive down interest rates. They want to make money cheaper. They want to make businesses borrow more, spend more, and ultimately, hopefully, hire more. Because as the Fed said yesterday in its statement, they now see significant downside risk to this economy. That's what spooked the markets. Typically, economists are saying maybe a 25% chance of another recession, although I've talked to some who've put it at 50-50.
Wow, and one economist I read this morning actually called this new plan a distraction. You mentioned this is to try to bring interest rates lower, and also to try to get businesses to perhaps borrow more. Two parts to this. One, how much lower can rates go? And two, is it really helping to encourage people to incur more debt?
Well, I mean, the fact is people can't get the loans anyway. Mortgage rates are already at 60-year lows. I mean, the 30-year fixed is just above 4%. The Fed's move will probably drop it below 40%, but it's very difficult to get one of those loans because lending standards have been tightened so much. And even though prices have come down, who's going to buy a house when they're worried about losing
Hi, it's
their
Chris Wilhelm. Welcome to my weekly video blog. Hey, this week we're talking a little bit about interest rates. I got a lot of calls last week asking, hey Chris, the interest rates went plummeting down. What caused that? In a nutshell, there was three factors. First one is that the Federal Reserve last week announced Operation Twist. Don't know how they came up with the name, but it's called Operation Twist. It's not a complicated thing, but I'm not going to spend much time explaining it now. If you want more detail, give me a call. That, along with the European market, specifically Greece, not being able to answer the call on some of the bonds they have out there, and then some of the other European countries not doing very well, coupled with the Dow Jones Industrial dropping, brought interest rates down. So those three factors really drove interest rates down. And with this Operation Twist, we're looking at rates staying down for probably at least the next 60 to 90 days, just based on that, because it's a $400 billion commitment. But this week, because I'm filming this on Wednesday, we've seen the Dow Jones Industrial have gains on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday consecutively. And there's word in Europe, specifically in Greece, where there's been some stability. So where some of the concerns were is they were going to default on those bonds, have basically stabilized. So we've seen rates come back up to where their levels are. However, keep an eye on the Dow Jones Industrial. So as you see the stock market go up, which means it's gaining, you're going to see interest rates kind of follow along with that, and vice versa. When the stock market or the Dow Jones Industrial is not doing well, you will see rates drop along with that. So that's a good indicator to pass on to your buyers. And remember Operation Twist, it did have a positive effect, but as well as with the European markets and again the Dow Jones Industrial, that's what's going to kind of drive the market. So again, we hope we find this information helpful. Pass it on to your buyers, and we'll keep you updated on what's happening with rates.
Antone Davis was an NFL star, but that was 100 pounds ago.
It's gotten rough, hasn't it? Look at me. Your kids need their dad. You've got to find that strength inside of you and to push you through it all.
This season, be there for the ultimate comeback.
You have absolutely no idea how bad I want to be here in so many ways.
The Biggest Loser's back, 1 week from Tuesday on NBC.
Philadelphia Eagle fans, now, I'm not talking about last week's game. That's over and done with. We move on to the 49ers. Hey, I wanted to bring to your attention, this season on The Biggest Loser, a former Philadelphia Eagle player is on the show. Antone Davis, for those who might not remember, because I have the stats, that's why I remember, he was our first-round draft pick in 1991, 8th taken overall. His weight has ballooned up to 447 pounds. So he's actually eligible to be on the show now. So it's pretty interesting. I went back and looked at his old stats. When he was drafted at the University of Tennessee, he's 6'4". He hasn't shrunk. He's still very tall. But his weight was 330 pounds. So he's managed to put on 110 pounds since then. And it's pretty interesting to see how he's working with the trainer. One trainer was able to break him down and actually had him crying last week. But as I speak to you today, he has made the cut. So tune in on Tuesday nights on NBC, The Biggest Loser. It's a great show overall, but now you even have more of a rooting interest because Antone Davis is on the show. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, thanks for watching.